Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Pigskin Addicts, back again with another video. So, still on this salary cap measure here. You guys see the title of this video. You guys see the thumbnail. Khalil Mack, in my opinion, I think he is a prime candidate to be let go this offseason. And I know the Chargers traded for him. I know that they gave up assets, right? And obviously Brandon Staley, he has a man crush on Khalil Mack, right? He has a nonstop love affair for Khalil Mack, and rightfully so, right? He coached him in Chicago when he first was getting started in the NFL. He was able to be around him every day, see his work ethic, right? And, witness greatness, right? Because Khalil Mack is a great player. But Khalil Mack is aging, and I think it is really, really starting to catch up with him. Now, the Chargers traded for him to, put together one of the best bookends in the league, right? One of the best bookend defensive end units in the league. And, starting off the season, right, it looked like it was going to be that. But, we have to step into reality here, guys. Joey Bosa he's not old, but his injuries are taking a toll on his body. I think he's still good, but I just don't think that he is what he once was, right? And the same could be said about Khalil Mack. The thing about these guys, though, is that their cap hits in 2023 are $58 million between the two of them. Joey Bosa's at 31 and Khalil Mack is at 27. And both of these guys are just, they're not going to give you the production, of guys who are making that much money, right? And I think it's okay to say that, right? You can be a fan as much as you want to, but when you step into reality and you look at the situation in front of us, we have to say that these guys are eating up a lot of the cap. And Bosa, his contract is not, the friendliest, right? The Chargers will. They would incur a big dead cap hit if they were to cut Bosa. But Khalil Mack's contract is a lot more team friendly if they were to make a decision on him. I don't think that Khalil Mack is tradable right now, just based off of the last season that he's had, right? 2022. It started off really, really good, but he tailed off at the end. And I honestly don't even think that that's that bad. I don't think it's that big of a deal. He's 31 years old. He's an aging player, right? He's played a lot of football, a lot of great football. And, that's what the NFL does to you, right? The wear and tear on your body is just something that you cannot overcome when you get older, right? Things become harder. He was able to get off of blocks really quickly, right? Drive guys right back into the quarterback, right? And we've seen glimpses and flashes of that last season, but he's not that guy anymore, right? Just this past season, 2022, Wednesdays were his rest days, right? He was on the injury report, I think, for almost every game, taking Wednesday off, right? Because he needed a rest day, right? What does that tell you? That tells you that his recovery ain't what it was, right? He has to recover, right? So if you play on Sunday and you need all the way until Wednesday, right, to still recover, it tells you that you're getting up there in age in the NFL, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think that it's controversial to acknowledge that. Now, when you look at the number, right, the number that he is due next season, you look at that and you say, okay, he had 8 sacks in 2022, right? He's an aging player. Is he going to revert back into 2015 Khalil Mack? I don't think so, right? The likelihood of that is very, 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 very low. So when you're looking at getting under the salary cap, when you're looking at shedding salary, Khalil Mack's contract is right there. And I think that it is, to me, I think it's a perfect opportunity for the Chargers to shed a lot of salary cap. And, let's get into some of the numbers because I can prove why. Now, let's start off with Khalil Mack's cap hit in 2022, right? 2022 Khalil Mack's cap hit was $8.7 million, right? So that was a huge reason why the Chargers made this trade for Khalil Mack, right? He restructured his contract so that cap hit could be very, very team friendly, and it was. It was a very team-friendly cap hit. It allowed the Chargers to go out and make a lot of other moves, on defense, right? So that was something that was beneficial for the Chargers coming into the 2022 season. Now, when you come into the 2023 season, that cap hit jumps from $8 million to $27 million. That thing jumps almost $20 million, right? That doesn't make any sense. And again, $27 million cap hit. Are you going to get that much production from a Khalil Mack? To me, I don't think so. I just do not think so. Based off of what I've seen, right, watching him objectively, watching him this season, I just don't think that you're going to get that. So what does that mean, right? It means that the Chargers can cut him, and I think that they should cut him. If the Chargers cut him, they would save $18 million, right? $18 million is a lot off of one cut. So I did the video about Keenan Allen, right? And, Daniel Popper and the article and all of that stuff. I covered that. But I think this is a more likely and more beneficial cut that the Chargers can make aside from Keenan Allen, right? I just don't. To me, again, offense is the most important thing. It's the offensive league, right? You have to focus on that. You need as many offensive weapons as you can. I get that Keenan Allen is expensive, but when you're comparing these two guys, right, who's going to give you more production next year? Keenan Allen or Khalil Mack? I think that's an easy question to answer, right? So when you're looking at this from the objective standpoint, I get what Khalil Mack has done in the league. I get, his name, right? Name recognition, all of that stuff, right? He's a household name at this point if you're a football fan. But he's just not going to be worth this. He's just not. He's not going to be worth this. And if he was to hit the open market, he wouldn't get anything close to this, right? So that tells you, you can probably, maybe take steps towards making that happen, right? Put him out on the open market, let him explore his options, because a $27 million cap hit when the Chargers are $23.4 million over the salary cap isn't going to work. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work for the Chargers with 8 sacks this year, right? And even if you, transpose that to next year, 8 sacks with $27 million in cap hit, right? I mean, 8 sacks is great, right? It's nothing to spit at, but is that worth $27 million, right? You can get that production, with a guy making half of that. Possibly, even a rookie or a guy on a rookie deal making a quarter of this, right? So when you start to look at the financials and you start looking at where the Chargers are, right? A lot of defensive contracts, a lot of bloated contracts, a lot of restructures, and a lot of talk about restructure. Khalil Mack's contract cannot be restructured. It's already been restructured. So it's either they pay him or they cut him at this point. Trade market is not going to be there. I don't think that there's any team that wants Khalil Mack at $27 million. Even all of the contending teams, Kansas City, I don't think that they can't afford to pay him that. Look at Philly, right? They're in the Super Bowl. Can they afford Khalil Mack right now? They're going to pay Jalen Hurts $50 million in this offseason. They can't afford him. Any other contending teams can't afford him either. So, again, he's not going to get this on the open market. So I think they have to explore this. Now, the issue with this is that, again, what I stated in the beginning of the video, Brandon Staley has a love affair with Khalil Mack. So this is going to be a very interesting decision, right? This could be one of those things where, Brandon Staley, Tom Telesco, right? Maybe the coach and the front office don't see eye to eye. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for him to be on this roster at this much money. It just doesn't. It does not make any sense. And if you are going to cut offense to keep an old, aging defensive player, right, who his production is not anywhere close to what his salary is, it just doesn't look good. It would not look good. And I think it is a bad thing to show the fans, right, that you're so wrapped up in name recognition, you're so wrapped up in personal relationships that you don't, keep the player that can actually have an impact in Keenan Allen, right, over a guy like Khalil Mack, right? You don't do that if that were to happen, right? But there's still a lot of time, right? The offseason is not officially here yet. The Super Bowl is coming up, but I think that there is going to be a lot of tough decisions for the Chargers to make, in particular Brandon Staley, because, again, this is his guy. But they're going to have to make these. They're going to have to get under the cap. And, again, restructuring is good and all of that stuff, but it's kicking the can down the road. And if you don't want to end up in a situation where you're paying old, aging players, top of the line money at the end of their careers, you're going to have to make tough decisions. And to me, this is a tough decision to make. This is a tough decision to make, but it's the right decision. And when you take your emotions away from it and when you actually step away from it and you look at it objectively, you can see that letting Khalil Mack hit the open market is probably the best thing for this team. It's going to help financially, right? It's going to take a lot of burden away as far as getting under the cap. Now, if you take that $18 million away, right, you're able to save $18 million. Now you're only $5 million over the cap, right? And now all your restructures are going to be based off of you actually being able to bring people in, in free agency, right? Not making big splash signings, but, covering areas that you need to cover, right? Because the Chargers, they still have holes. And if you cut this salary, you're going to be able to do that, right? With your restructures, and, if other guys get cut, then you're going to actually have some space to bring somebody in. Then you're going to actually have a clear plan of how you're going to pay Justin Herbert, how much money, his cap is going to be next year, and so on and so forth. Same thing for the other guys that are a year behind him. You're going to have a clear opportunity to actually lay this out, put those guys' salary in stones, and then work your way around them. Build your roster around your cornerstone guys. And then at that point, it's a lot easier than having guys on your roster that are going to take up all this money when they're aging. It's so much easier to know Justin Herbert is going to get $50 million this year, $50 million next year, $50 million. Rashawn Slater is going to get 15 this year, 16 that year, whatever this and that. It's much easier to work around your superstar players, right? When you know how much money that they're getting, as opposed to, being in the situation that the Chargers are now, having to make tough decisions and, possibly, maybe moving on from, a really, really good player like Asante Samuel Jr. because they won't be able to afford him, right? So they're going to have to make really, really smart financial decisions. I'm looking forward to this offseason. I want to see what they do. I want to see if they're able to put their personal relationships aside and make the right business decisions, because at the end of the day, this is a business. And that's what I want to see. I want to see business decisions being made. I want to see the offense being fortified. And I want to see some of the bloated defensive salary get cut, because honestly, that's the only way the Chargers are going to have any success going down the road, competing in a very, very, competitive offensive NFL. That's the only way that they're going to be able to compete. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the decisions are going to be. But that is all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Really appreciate it. Shout out to my new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content. We're going to be getting into some Super Bowl stuff. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to smash that like button on your way out as well, too. That's all I got. So until next time.